Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial in which I'm going to show you how to use image trace inside of Adobe Illustrator. Image trace is a really cool function because it turns any image into vector artwork that you can then repurpose for your own use, especially adding your own unique stylization. So it's really awesome. It saves you from having to draw something, and then the second reason is that it vectorizes an image. It doesn't lose any quality because it's now vector, right? So then the third reason is that you can repurpose the colors for your own unique designs. So okay, let's dive into it. So here I am inside of Illustrator, and you can see these two images. This is a regular PNG, a pixelated or rasterized image, and here is the vector image. So if I zoom into it now, you can see that as I, scale up this image to the right, the rasterized image, you'll see that we start to lose quality. And so the big reason we like using vector is because it doesn't matter how much you zoom into something, you still have infinite quality. Okay. So what I can do now is, I have all of these different paths now you can see as I'm mousing over it, and I can change any of these colors that I want. I can come here and say, change that to blue. This is another image, just scans it and creates the tracing for you. This is another one I just did. And so you can see you have it just creates some really awesome, cool looking images for you. Google search for Illustrator trace, image trace, and you can see tons of examples of what this really looks like when you can get really good at it. Let's image trace. So here's my image I'm going to work with. Once you have your image inside, you'll look in the control panel on the top, and you'll see that you can image trace from here. There are different ways to access the image trace. So you can go to Object and also choose Image Trace, Make. And my preferred way is going up to Windows and then using the actual Image Trace panel. So once I open that, by default, you'll see that we have some presets here. If I click on that, these are different presets that you can just experiment and play with. If you were just to do Make, it would do like a black and white logo, and you'd get something like this, and you do have control over the amount of lines you can see by increasing this threshold, and that will give you more lines, as you can see here. So pretty cool right there, right? So and you can also let's do another preset, and so let's choose something like let's choose 3 colors. I want you to see the difference in 3 colors. Again, it depends on what you're going for, so just like that looks pretty cool. Sketch art, okay, and I want you to just see how awesome that is, because you can actually just create some really cool looking artwork. Vectorized. So it's vectorized. So basically what I'm showing you here is that you can, scale infinitely, and look at those clean, smooth lines. Amazing. That's what I wanted to show you. Okay, so that's just that. So next I want to show you the high fidelity. Now this is going to mimic more like a real photo look compared, but it still will be vectorized. It's just going to use as much colors as it can in the image, and notice that it does take some time to process depending on your image size. So again, that plays into factor here, and your computer processor. Waiting. All right, so here we go. That you see, it looks like a photograph, and so, but if I zoom in again, here we go. It's vector, right? So it's vectorized. So pretty cool. Right? So let's talk about up here. So you can, if I mouse over this, you can see it auto colors. These are some additional presets that's inside of the image trace panel. And you have high color, low color, grayscale. So if I were to go to grayscale right now, it would make this image grayscale. And we have grayscale. If I were to zoom in here and get my hand tool, you can see that got some nice gray tones going on there. Okay, and let me go to, I want to go to high color. Okay, so this is high color, and again, if I were to zoom out, it's kind of hard to see that this is actually a vectorized image, but when I zoom in like that, you can see we've got some really nice colors happening here. So at this point, if I was happy with this result, I can now go to, make sure you've got preview on, by the way. So you come up to expand, or you can go to expand here in the properties panel as well. So there's two. This is going to actually turn this image into the paths so that you can actually have to vectorize, color them. So right now this is like, whoa, insane amount of paths we have here. So if I were to zoom in right there, you can see all of these individual paths. And what's happening here is that I'm going to show you the difference between the methods, which is abutting and overlapping. And basically, abutting creates more like a cutout path, and it's more like puzzle pieces. They fit really tightly together, and the overlapping will create paths that overlap with each other, which is what's going on here. And I tend not to like that too much. So you can see here. And so what I'm going to do is hit Command Control Z to undo the expand. So let's look at the abutting method now. So this is just how the paths are actually created within the vectorized image of the image tracing. So we were on overlapping, and you could have seen how those overlap. So again, I could show you here better maybe. So this one, okay, this apple, if I zoom into it, this is the abutting method. And you can see here that these paths are more like a puzzle piece. They're nice and clean. And basically, if I were to then say Ungroup, I can come in here and select these paths. And you see how much more easier it is to, create and select these paths to recolor them when you need to. So that's the difference between these two options. So if I were to come to this one, and you'll see this one is using the overlapping, and if I were to zoom in right there, you can see the paths overlapping each other. And I feel like this, it depends on what you're working for. Let's continue playing. So I'm going to hit expand, and right there you see now I have all of these paths, but I can't do anything yet. Right? So basically I have to do one thing, which is to ungroup them before I can actually start editing the colors and things like that. So I want to control click and say ungroup. Okay, so hit ungroup, and now I can get to select a path like this. So check that out. Isn't that great? So you can see now that when I ungroup them, I have control of changing any of these colors I want to. So that is just awesome. It's fun, right? So now we have our individual paths that we can do whatever we want to. We can modify them. We can go into the anchor points and shift those anchor points if you want. You can also add gradients. All of this is possible, but I want to show you in the layers panel. If you turn it down, you'll actually see all of the individual paths that was created when we expanded, and check that out. That's a lot. So you can seriously repurpose this image for whatever you need it to. So at this point, if I wanted to change this one color, I would simply click on it and then double click it. So important, double click, right? And then go up to the fill colors, and let's choose something like, let's do a red. So there, isn't that awesome? So here again, I have another section. I'd like to change the color. So I go up to this, and I'll choose, I'm just doing this at random to show you how you can actually choose these colors. So I'll choose that. So now this hat's really going to be a super colorful hat. Let's choose green here. And let's choose this part there, and you can see this is so fun, right? So you can keep playing around and getting some really awesome little different stylized colors that you think are cool. So really it's just about playing. I can come in here and sort of adjust the colors as well. So maybe that is red, and I also maybe want to make that part red. So you can see how fun this can be. Now, so I wanted to show you that you can also use these gradients, which is pretty rad. So check it out. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so with the gradient selected, you can come into your gradient options, right, in the fill. So go to gradient options, and then your gradient panel comes up, and you can then edit this, go from linear to radial. And you can see that this is now becoming something really awesome. You can also change the angle. So, let's say you want something like a 180, that can start to change as well. If we do linear, you can see that starts to change. So the angles are really cool when you're working with gradients. As you can see right here, I'm just playing with the angle, and it's helping me to create some pretty interesting distribution of the gradients color. So awesome. I actually like something like 180, and maybe if you want to, you can reverse that by hitting this button here. Okay, reverse the gradients. You know how much we love gradients in Illustrator. So with that selected, I can come over here, and let's maybe try to throw on another gradient. Let me throw another one on here, and maybe we'll go for a pattern this time. Check that out. You can put patterns in there. I'm totally redesigning this hat. So you can imagine like you have a shoe ad, a Nike ad, or something like that, and you can seriously repurpose it. And it's just awesome. Okay, kind of want that back. Like that. Let's go over here, and then I can put that there. I think that looks pretty cool. So there, it's endless really what you can keep doing, and that's pretty much how you use the image trace function to get some really cool results. It's pretty cool. So just keep playing around, and you'll get the hang of it. Again, there's tons of presets in the image trace options. And you just once you are finished, you want to, when you're happy, just hit expand. And I can also change all of these. Anything that you can see here, there are paths. And be careful not to drag a path because you're actually moving it. You can do it for stylistic reasons, but just be careful. This is live. Basically, it's a live artboard that you're changing and manipulating the colors. So you do want to be conscious of that, that you're clicking in a live artboard, which is fantastic. So just keep playing, and this is so fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and make sure that you are choosing the abutting or overlapping method. You do have control of the paths, how advanced, how many paths do you want. But I think like in general, by the default settings are pretty good, especially in the newest version of Illustrator. And so I think, what am I using here? This is 22.1, so cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and play around and enjoy, and you can add gradients. As you can see, it's so fun.